Hello, everybody. This is Witcher the Wizard coming to you again for another Twin Flames, the Twin Within Energy Report for the week of June 16th to the 22nd. Um, you may have noticed that I didn't have one for last week. My apologies. Just way too much stuff going on. Didn't get it done and just continued to not get it done. Was going to try and put up a something else video on Wednesday, but I didn't get that done either. So here we are. When I was thinking about that, what comes to mind is just the tower moments we have in our life. And we are often taught to think that tower moments are scary, and well, they are scary, or something to be feared and avoided, which they're not. They should not be feared. They should not be avoided. Tower moments are just tower moments happen when we are hanging on to something in our life that we're just not ready to let go of, but that no longer serves us. And because we continue to cling on to these aspects of our life that are no longer serving us, it builds up, and eventually that molehill becomes a mountain because we won't let it go, and it becomes a tower moment. So I guess you could say that tower moments are both necessary but can be avoided and ought to be avoided, in the sense that, as we get better at letting things go in our life, as we get better at really discerning when it's time to let things go in our life, they won't build up. They won't continue to build up and necessitate a tower moment in our life. My tower moment was, is the letting go of my old life of trying to be the typical American man. I talked about this before, but I was born a very sensitive young boy. I was born to be very strongly connected with the feminine energy. And I was born, I'm absolutely certain that I came into this world in order to work with the feminine energy and work with women a lot, and eventually work with men and helping them to connect, to reconnect with their feminine energy and embrace that. And during my life, I've really spent the majority, all of my adult life, trying really hard to not be that person that I came into this world to be. And I know that I came into this world to be because, I was looking at, my dad passed away 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, and I was looking through some of his stuff, and I found, he's a counselor. He did psychological counseling, and in some of his old tapes, I found this, which is from Jean Shinoda, I'd actually read one of her books before, about 4 years ago maybe, and had no idea that my dad had any of her works. But yeah, he's got the Wise Woman Archetype series, and I think he's got another one in there somewhere. But there you go. That was from my dad, and then my mom. She did a lot of work with helping women, and just all of my aunts on my mom's side are just incredible women, well educated, powerful in their own rights, for whatever they chose to do in their lives. My sister's the same way. So this is, my family. I'm just surrounded by this in my family, and so I know that this is what I came into this world to do, and yet I just put so much of my time and effort and energy into trying not to be that. I joined the military to literally do, kind of like the worst possible job, which was, airborne infantry, very dangerous kind of work. I went into, even though I have degrees in philosophy and psychology and anthropology, I went into the corporate world and learned computers and networking. Eventually, I became an executive in the video gaming industry, which is an extremely, hyper masculine kind of thing. Before it all came sort of crashing down, and I had to leave all of that behind. It was at a point in my life where Spirit just said, "Okay, it's time. It's time for you to move on." And for the last 3 years, I've really been resisting letting all of that go and stepping into my new role. And so I needed this tower moment to happen, where I have, had to file bankruptcy. I had a lot of debt, and normally, I was trying to invest in this new aspect of my life, and I thought, well, if it doesn't work out, I'll just go back to the corporate world and get a job, and that new thing that I was trying to do, which really wasn't in alignment with who I'm here to be, failed. And then when I tried to go back into the corporate world and get a job and pay off that debt, that failed. Even though I have a stellar resume, nobody wanted to hire me. And so it really kind of took this hitting rock bottom, and especially in the sense of, men are always supposed to be the providers, and we're supposed to, filing, having debt and not being able to pay it off. I can't tell you how many days, and then not being able to get a job. I can't tell you how many days I woke up just not wanting to be alive. I just felt so bad about myself. And I just really had to work through all of that and get myself to say, okay, I just need to file for bankruptcy, Chapter 7, and let all of that go. Let that persona that I had created, let it die. Let it die with that bankruptcy. Chapter 7 is liquidation. So, fortunately, I'm one of those people that haven't really bought a lot of stuff in my life. I don't have a lot of things, and when I do buy things, I keep them for like 10, 20 years. So I really don't have a whole lot of things that are of any value, and for not having had a steady job for 3.5 years, I just didn't have anything in savings anymore. And but that liquidation is important because it's liquidating that old life. It's liquidating that old persona, and it's finally allowing me to let all of that go. And really start fresh and be a new person. Which still isn't easy. I mean, it's going to have its challenges. It's just that, letting go of something that you've been for the last 20, 30 years takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of work of just continuing to cut those old ties, cut the cords, cut those mental patterns, the emotional habits, just cut all of that, while at the same time embracing the new. And what I feel is interesting about all of this is that, in the first part of our life, we're so used to dying to our old self and embracing the new self on a yearly basis. And you think about that, our school system is set up to allow us to die to who we were last year and become a new person as we graduate and go to each grade. And then, we'll get out of grade school. First we get out of preschool and kindergarten, and we get into first grade, and that's like the big step. And then we get out of grade school and we go into middle school or junior high. And then from junior high, we leave that, and, we go into high school. And then high school, we graduate and go on to whatever we're going to do, whether that's a trade school or, college or military or right into, some kind of job, or becoming an entrepreneur, whatever that is. It's those transitions, and we're very eager to do that for most of, our early life. We're just excited to grow out of our old clothes, let them go, and get new clothes. Graduate from our old class and go into a new class. You know, we grow out of our old toys and TV shows, and we get into new ones. And so for the first 18 years or so of our life, it's this just beautiful progression of allowing the old to die and being really excited about the new. And then somehow we get to a point in our lives where, once we get into the workforce, that suddenly, slowly but surely becomes a very scary proposition to die to our old self, let our old self die off, and become something new. And so, that's what we go through. And yet, if we were somehow able to really either keep that spirit of growing out of the old and into the new, or rediscover it for ourselves, I think our lives would be so much better for it. Because that's what life never stops being that way. Life, even when I make this transition, I'm going to continue to make transitions. Even as I first started getting into Reiki work and energy work, I call it Reiki work because, that's what everybody, it's just channeled energy work. So, I get into my energy work, and what I thought that was going to be when I first started is completely different from what it is now. And it just continues to change. And that kind of messed with me a little bit at first because, I really, I didn't trust myself. And that's what it all comes down to. When you fear that change, it's because we don't trust ourselves. And so we don't trust that even though this old structure is falling away, that our new structure is going to be okay. And we're going to be okay within this new structure. And so as my Reiki practice was changing, as my energy practice was changing, there was a lot of fear in that because I didn't feel solid. I didn't trust it. I didn't know what was going on. And now that I look back on it, it's just like, yeah, I'm finding my own style, and I'm growing into my practice more. That's what's happening. It's not that things are chaotic. It's that they're continually shifting because I'm growing into what I'm doing and my understanding of it. And as I'm able to look back on that now, I really trust that so much more, and I'm embracing it so much more because what I started off with was just the idea of people coming in and it would be like a spa visit, and I would do a little bit of energy work on them. They would feel better, go home, come back in a month or two, something like that. And now what I'm realizing it is that my true work is helping people to grow into their own self-empowerment. That's the real work. Right? So I'm helping them get familiar with their own energy so that they can grow into their own self-empowerment and realize that they have everything they need within them. They don't need to look outside. So I don't see myself so much as a healer, as a facilitator. I facilitate their self-empowerment, and the more self-empowered they become, the more they heal. And I feel really good about that. In fact, I'm becoming more and more impassioned about the whole thing. It seems less and less like I'm doing something to them, and instead I'm side by side with them, assisting them, and working with them, but not just working with them for something that will make them kind of feel good for a little while, but something that will give them the tools to feel good about their life for the rest of their life, right? So it's kind of the idea of, instead of giving someone a fish, I'm teaching them how to fish. and then they're going to be able to really provide that sustenance for themselves for the rest of their lives. And in turn, that's going to make my life better, because now I'm going to have somebody who's awake and empowered. And when you're awake and empowered, whatever it is you choose to do in this world is going to benefit the people around you, period. No doubt about it, whatever that is. And so that's what makes it exciting for me. The cards that I pulled, play into this really well, because the feminine energy card is the Nine of Cups, and it really is about finding that that peace, love, and abundance within you. And the Tower moments in our lives help move us towards that. That space, the ability, it gives us the opportunities as it shakes those old things loose from us. It gives us the opportunity to take a look and say, oh yeah, I can walk away from those 8 cups, those 8 empty cups that don't serve me, that my mind is interested in, but that my heart has no desire for. And I can choose to pick up the one cup that's full, that cup that comes from your heart, that cup that represents your in the Northern European tradition, we would call it your orlog. Other people might call it your destiny, your dharma, your soul's desire. And we can choose to embrace that cup and move forward in life with that cup in mind, And so the Tower opportunity is to really embrace your soul's desire, and to say, yeah, this is the one that I'm choosing. I'm going to choose this. And that's your feminine energy, right? Because your feminine energy is always the energy of guidance. It's where it's your North Star. It's your true north, right? The feminine energy sets the agenda. The masculine energy has to carry it out. And so the masculine energy is, this is the other part. It's the opportunity. You can choose to or not to move forward, take the actions necessary. I mean, you can always say, yeah, this is what I want to do, but then choose not to take the actions to do it. And to take the actions to do it, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to be vulnerable. And in order to be vulnerable like that, you have to really trust and believe in what you're doing. And that's hard sometimes. And I think that if you believe in it, it's easy. But taking that leap of faith. So this is what I think the difference between belief and faith. Belief is something that you feel very strongly about, and you can move forward because you believe in it. And it's a lot easier to move forward on something when you actually believe in it. But faith is when you don't believe in it, but you're willing to take the actions anyway. And I think that's the difference between faith and belief. So, I didn't believe in myself as an energy worker. I just didn't. I didn't believe in myself, and for a long time, I didn't have the faith necessary to really move forward, to take a lot of forward steps with that. They were baby steps. They were really, really tiny baby steps. Fortunately, the universe was not willing to ignore me. And so the universe kept sending me clients, even when I wasn't willing to really get out there and take action. I would be sitting on my couch bemoaning my situation, and I would get a message from somebody who found me out of the blue and said, hey, I'd like to get a session with you. So the universe was just saying, And I would say yes. I would be like, yes, let's do it. So I was willing to take that action, which is being vulnerable. So it's willing to um, meet with your clients, interact with them, take their money, and provide them, and have the faith that you're going to provide them a good service, which I always did. And so slowly but surely, I've built up enough evidence that I actually believe in myself now, and I'm starting to really put myself out there and say, yeah, if you want to work with me, work with me. Here's what I focus on, um, and so the ball is starting to roll more. But faith, taking that leap of faith, it's hard, but the more you're able to do it, the quicker your transformation is going to be, and the less you're going to suffer, because I suffered quite a bit. And what I hope is that, so I'm finding that I'm tending to attract in a lot of clients who are in the beginnings of their own awakening and changes in their life. In fact, I have a client today, and she's in that very stage of that kind of, my life is going to, make a change, and I'm nervous but excited, and all of these things. And the last 3 or 4 clients I've had have been all exactly the same. And so I'm hoping that the fact that I struggled so much with that, I can take that and help coach people who are in those beginning stages, so that they won't that their process will go a little more smoothly and quickly. Um, because I don't think it ever has to be a certain way. You have all these different paths, and they all lead to the same place. It's just up to you to pick the shorter path or the longer path. And I can definitely say that I wish I would have taken the shorter path, but who knows? That longer path, it's given me a lot of understanding of why that longer path happens, and maybe I'll be really, really happy in helping other people take, like, learn how to take the shorter path, or people who are kind of on the longer path, helping them get unstuck a little more quickly. So yeah, the masculine energy, it's all about, are we gonna make that choice to take action, um, in the face of a complete lack of confirmation from the universe that this is the right way to go and this is the right thing to do. It's the Indiana Jones in the third movie, where he has to leap out onto basically that chasm, and he can't see the bridge underneath him. It's an optical illusion. He can't see it. He thinks he's just going to fall to his death. And it's got to be the scariest thing in the world. That's the leap of faith, right? And yet he takes that leap, because he's desperate to save his father's life, and it turns out that there's a rock path underneath there. Holy smokes! And yet that's what it feels like when you're going through it. It feels like you're going to die if you take this leap of faith, but you're not. You're not. You're absolutely not. There's always footing underneath. You'll even if you try and fail and try and fail and try and fail and try and fail, eventually you're going to figure out the right path. And because you tried and failed all those times, you're gonna be a lot more confident once you start moving in the right direction, because you're gonna know what is not your direction, and you're gonna really be assured that as you're moving forward, that is your direction, because you tried so many other directions and it failed, and this one didn't. So this has got to be the right way. So those are the energies for this week, and I think it's perfect for this full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is opposite of Gemini. Gemini is all about thinking about things. It's your mind, it's your analytical thoughts, and Sagittarius is that too, but it's a fire energy. Gemini is an air energy. Sagittarius is a fire energy, and Sagittarius is the archer too. It's about shooting that arrow and putting your thoughts into action. And so we've decided what we want. We came out of Taurus season, and we said, yeah, here's what my heart really desires, and now we're going to shoot that arrow and put our thoughts into action and just go and just imperfect action, ready, fire, aim. You can that arrow is more like a guided missile. Just fire it, just shoot it, and course correct as you go. Just get it going, get the ball rolling, and you will reach your destination so much more quickly. And then if you didn't, and then that destination is an exciting and joyful life. Okay, I guarantee it. So here's the oracle card for today. I haven't looked at it yet, but Sacred Pool. Ooh, I've not had that before. Sacred Pool. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, let me go ahead and read that. It's funny because I was shuffling and that card flipped up kind of cockeyed, and I kept trying to get it straightened up and back into the deck. And I was bound and determined to get that thing straightened up and back into the deck when it finally occurred to me that that was the card that wanted to be chosen. And I'm like, oh man, how many hits on the noggin does it take? Apparently a lot for me, but I can change that. Sacred Pool. The world is a reflection of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Embody the love you wish to see in the world. And I'm going to say love as in your sense of joy for the world, your sense of excitement for your life, for yourself, for your life, and how you want your life to be. When you look into the mirror, do you like what you see? The Sacred Pool card asks that you focus on self-love, there we go, and self-esteem. We are all works in progress, so a detached self-examination made with rigorous honesty is called for now. Reflect by the Sacred Pool and be at peace with yourself. Can you see how far you've come and how magical your life is? Getting a little misty here. Do you notice the spark of the divine shining through your eyes? When you're conscious that you're the embodiment of spirit, it becomes easier to reflect yourself, to respect yourself, and act in good conscience. Then you'll reap the greatest rewards. Your unique service to the world is not only needed, but celebrated. See the love within you, and know that if you cast it upon the waters, it will return to you tenfold. Be at peace, for you are beautiful and loved. Act with surety and confidence, and success shall be yours, whatever your inquiry. Well, I don't think I could end it any better than that. That card was absolutely perfect for the energies that came up and everything that came out of my mouth today. And even, what I'm planning on talking about with my new client today. So that's great. I hope that you are all doing well. Just know that whatever struggles you're going through, just always go back to your heart. And however scary it seems to be, put those heart's desires in motion, and you will reap the benefits. It will come back to you tenfold. It really, really will. Don't be afraid to let go of the old, embrace the new, and just keep moving forward. You will get there. And you will be celebrated for it. So, I wish you all a great week and peace and love. And if you have any comments, please feel free to put them in the comments below. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. Just have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you all next weekend. Thank you.